froggy out there.
A little bit.
Oh, a little froggy. Oh, she's a little froggy. We are on our way down to pick up this truck. Hopefully, we said this before. We did say this before the last time. Those guys are a couple of lying sacks down there. Basically. I mean, like, they tried to make it right at the last minute, but to be honest, I literally asked them, is there anything that truck needed? Anything wrong with it? Anything concerning that maybe somebody should know before I drive an hour and a half? And they're like, oh no, it's perfect. It's freaking turnkey, ready to go, no issues. He's like, no lights on the dash, nothing for this 2005 Duramax. And long story short, you know, I mean, it did end up having the engine oil light on the dash needing service, low wash fluid leaking from the master cylinder, power steering seemed like it wasn't working when I pulled back into the lot. Driver's side brake caliper seized up. I mean, it was a pretty good list. The fuel light was on because it said freaking 20 miles till empty. That does count as a light on the dash. I mean, in this market, that's an expensive light on the dash. Empty fuel tank, not gonna happen. But in all seriousness, we are on our way down here to check out a Ford. It's a 6.7 Power Stroke. It's pretty freaking mint. It's pretty nice, at least from photos. In the description, again, the description I've been given seems legit. It's been a hard debate because, you know, I've done the old truck stuff majority of the time. I've done a few new trucks here and there. I did, you know, our limited dually. I did a Platinum Ford. I did, you know, a 2018 Tradesman. I've done a 2016 SLT regular cab G56 that we did like a Laramie interior swap on, and then we did the full nav and everything, upgraded the sound system. I mean, we've done a small handful of newer trucks, and I've kind of tried to stay with the older stuff, and in the reality, almost too much older Dodge stuff, which I still love, but we've done a lot of it. It's been really hard to find those older trucks. Like in the last 4 years, it hasn't been that bad, especially the first like 2 years I was doing this. I mean, it was pretty easy. Like if I wanted to find a clean older Dodge or something that was pretty darn close to clean that we just had to do a few small things on to clean it up, it's pretty easy to find. I mean, like you could find them, they're reasonably priced, you could find them with reasonable mileage on them. And then in the last year and a half, it's been really hard to find, first off, low mileage older Dodge trucks. Low mileage older trucks in general is getting really hard to find. And the guys that do have them either aren't selling them or they want a ridiculous price. Freaking sunrise is beautiful. So it's been kind of tough. And I've been trying to search for a Duramax for the last almost 4 solid weeks now. It has been a pain in the butt. I had asked you guys if you want to see like an LLY or an OBS, and so then you guys voted like crazy on an LLY Duramax, and I wasn't even just looking for LLYs. I mean, once I realized how hard it was to find a good one, I started looking for LBZs, I started looking for LB7s that had, you know, the injectors and stuff all done, so, you know, they would be considered like a better truck, reliability speaking. And it's been a pain in the freaking butt. I mean, I have even made some slightly stupid offers on trucks that were not for sale, but just because I couldn't find anything else that was as clean as I'm looking for. And guys are like, you know, you know, truck's got 200,000 miles. I won't take the 25 or whatever, the 22 or the 20,000 bucks, you know, and I'll take 35 or I'll take 40 for my, you know, LLY with 180,000 miles. I'll take 40 grand. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, like, are you freaking serious? Like, I get it. If it's not for sale, they don't want to sell it. You name your price because they don't want to sell it. They don't have to. So I totally get that. But the point is, it's been very freaking difficult. So we had to opt into the debate. Do we just go with something newer? It's a lot easier to find something newer, obviously, because these trucks are still being made. You know, they're not that old. You can find them with relatively low miles on them easily because, well, they're not old trucks. You know, you're talking about trucks that, like a 2017, it's like that truck's hardly 5 years old. It's not, you know, 25 years old or 15 years old. So we're almost down here. I'll say almost, I mean another hour. We're gonna check this thing out. The guy, according to the description, he said the truck runs like new, looks like new, truck shines up like perfect. He even did a waxing on it yesterday. He said, I got the thing ready for you. It looks freaking amazing. It's sitting out in front of the barn ready. But the guy seems like a straight shooter, and it's not a dealer, which I have a little more faith in it when it's actually owned by the person who did the stuff to the truck and actually has owned the truck and driven the truck on a regular basis. It's a little bit easier to have confidence in somebody's word coming from that perspective versus just like I'm trying to freaking sell you something, so I'm going to tell you it's good no matter what. So yeah, hopefully it all checks out, and if it does, you'll be seeing more of it very soon. Now, I'm not going to show like all the street numbers and stuff because I don't want to give this guy's address away. Dang! Dude's got like freaking 3 power strokes. The one that we're coming to hopefully be buying. Tire pressure light because of the aftermarket wheel and tire setup, but here we are. We're gonna get out of here, get it back, give you guys a full tour. On the road on our way back, I gotta tell you, I've got to tell you, it is much different driving a newer truck again. And you almost kind of forget just how nice all the creature comforts are in these things. I mean, I do have a love and I have a passion for the older trucks. I love finding that clean one. I really do. I really do. And I'm sure we will do more of those. But there's just something about hopping in something with leather interior, cruise control that works well, all the buttons to like accel and decel and select your music on the steering wheel and all this stuff. I mean, it's all these things that you don't need, but when you have them, you're like, this is nice. I'm gonna fill you guys in a little bit. I'm gonna save the next video. That is the best price on regular gas I've seen in a long time. $4 a gallon. That's really good, at least compared to what it's been. It's been like $5 a gallon up home. We did actually make a little pit stop at a family member's place here. We're gonna be looking around his property because he's got a couple acres of woods up here on the hill, and I'm looking for some backup spots for later in the season. It's one of those things, like our property, I think it's going to be totally good. I think we're going to have plenty of opportunities at deer. The only dilemma with our property is you can really only hunt it on 2 wind directions, but it has to consist of the same dominant variant, which is like an east or southeast wind. So pretty much that's the only wind we can hunt because our property's so narrow, and it's a deeper property, but it's really narrow. I'm just looking for a couple of extra small backup spots that's like, hey, you know, if the wind's really bad, but it's a really good time to hunt, and I feel like I have to be in the woods somewhere, that's what I'm looking for. And he was more than gracious to allow me to come by here and check it out. He said, no problem, go for it. So we're gonna get on up here and see what it looks like. All I'm gonna say is, I think we're in the money with this spot. It's not much ground to hunt, but you don't need it in the right location. This is the right location. I was kind of hoping for that when I was looking at the property on the map. The thing of it is, it's a direction that I can't hunt at my property, but for this place, it would be perfect. It would be a perfect setup. I was up there, actually saw a really nice buck get up out of a bed and take off. And we kind of went to where he bedded, and we found kind of like his corner, and you can just, it smelled like a buck. It was just all freaking tore up with massive hoof prints, and there was like 3 spots in that corner that were just matted with hair. Like this deer's been using it for a while, and that's like his spot. So we found a tree, it's actually a pine on the far end, kind of between the end of the property line on each side, and it's kind of like in the middle outer edge. And the full width of this section of woods is like 30 or 40 yards. So we think if we can sneak up into that pine with that wind, A, there's cover completely around you. B, you don't have to walk through where those deer are gonna cut across you, so you don't have to get your scent on their trails to bust yourself when you're trying to hunt them. And it would be perfect. We wouldn't bump his bed if he was in there, and it would just be perfect. And we think we're gonna get a cell cam up here, stick it on his bedding area, and then kind of monitor that deer throughout the summer. Maybe we'll be bringing you guys some footage here on the Brotherhood Outdoors channel this fall. But for now, that's it for the outdoor stuff. I just thought maybe some of you guys might like that.
Up.
here we are. Truck is freaking sweet though. I love the mirrors, the lighting, the headlight setup. I literally love so much about this. And by the way, this truck is on a 2.5 inch level, and it literally has like 8 inches of clearance still above the door, which I was very concerned about. And also it is sitting on 14 wides, and there was about, I think, 8 or 9 inches of clearance on either side of the wheels. Probably more than that. And we're gonna go over some basic stuff, and then I'm gonna go into why I went with this truck. If you guys have been following us for a long time, I already went into detail in the beginning about how we've done a lot of older stuff. It's been a while since we did something quite a bit newer. A lot of that is because I just love it. I love the older stuff, but it is really a niche. And I fully understand that. There's a lot of guys that might like to watch videos of the older trucks just because it's kind of cool, you know, it's kind of unique at times. At a certain point, it can get very repetitive, very boring, long-term, especially when it comes to you guys wanting to enter for them. We've done a lot of these same exact trucks. I mean, like different configurations, whether it be a short bed or a long bed or an auto or a manual or, you know, a 12 valve or a 24 valve. Like, we've done variations, but a lot of the same thing nonetheless. And when it comes to looking for the next truck, LNP DG32, we're calling this truck Liberty. That's the theme around this truck. So Liberty here, this truck, LNP DG32, you guys can pre-enter for right now, by the way. Official launch date for the website is July 26th. Mark your calendars if you're wanting to wait until launch day, but pre-entry is live right now, which is essentially like we're taking in orders and entries now, and then on the 26th, all those entries will automatically be submitted into the drawing for the truck, but you can enter early. But for the end of the giveaway, there is an end date and there is an end date. Like there's no going past the end date. So this giveaway is going to end on September 6th. So this giveaway is going to be just a hair over 5 weeks long, so not very long. Give yourselves a great opportunity at winning this truck, plus $5,000 in cash. Let's get into the details. So the truck, it looks, this is just my opinion, I think it looks freaking sick. The truck is actually an XL model though. You might find that very interesting. So it's an F250, it's an XL model, 6.7 power stroke, it's 4-wheel drive, and you know, the guy did a lot of stuff to it that I got it off of. He knows a little bit about what we do, who we are. I didn't go into full details on, like, you know, if you watch the videos or anything like that. He just said, yo, yeah, I've heard of you guys, you know, I've seen some of your stuff, and he is super excited to see who gets this thing for literally like next to nothing. Back to the topic of the truck though, it's an XL F250 6.7 4-wheel drive. It's got some fun stuff done to it. It's got the 8-foot box crew cab configuration, and there's a lot of stuff on this truck that is aftermarket and is not from the factory, but today we're gonna go over some of the factory stuff, and we're gonna go over like some of the options that this truck has, because I think you guys are gonna be very impressed. But looking underneath here, this thing, now I know the aluminum bodies aren't known for rusting because that's the point, that's why Ford went with the aluminum bodies, but the frames are still made out of steel. And when you look at how clean this thing is, I mean, that's impressive. Even the B&W hitch, those are not known for staying clean. I mean, this thing is super mint underneath. Now, I understand it's not that old of a truck, but trust me, 5 years up in the state of Ohio, up north in general, 5 years can still do some damage to the underside of one of these things if they're not kept clean or if they're driven through the salt. So that was impressive to me. And now that you guys have seen the configuration of the truck, we're gonna hop on into the interior. I'm gonna show you guys some of the features inside. It's actually really nice. Now, generally when you think XL, you think more of like a very downgraded interior, but that's actually not the case of this truck. From factory, from Ford, with full power windows all the way around, power locks of course, and it does actually have a form of leather interior on this thing. So it is actually super sweet. Seats still fold up. Then you have freaking tons of just room for either, if you're like a deer hunter or bow hunter, camo gear, setting your bow down, stuff like that, you know, the essentials. It's got all your power features. It's got the middle front seat. It's got the big screen up here for the 2017 year models, and you can hook your phone in. It's got Apple CarPlay and all that stuff. It's got all the nice features, and this thing has got to have a massive fuel tank. And the reason I say it's got to have a massive fuel tank is because this thing was on a 3/4 tank, and it was 2 hours from where we came, and it hardly moved. at all. But I'm kind of curious just how many miles this thing really can get out of the tank. It's got to have a huge fuel tank. The truck does have some niceties. It's got some funs. It really is like freaking cool, and I'm super freaking pumped. Somebody's gonna get this thing for literally like almost next to nothing, so that's freaking awesome. Very nice, very clean. All that being said, here we are with a 2017 6.7 Power Stroke. I'm gonna wrap up the video here. I don't really know exactly how long this is gonna be once I edit it all down, but I did a lot of talking. We did a lot of driving, tried to simplify why I decided to go with this. I know a lot of you guys wanted to see an L5P, and I totally get that. Maybe we'll do something like that next. I don't know. I'm trying to decide if I should step out of my comfort zone and do some newer stuff, because we really haven't done newer stuff on a regular basis. Every time I do a newer truck, I find another clean old one, and I'm like, ah, oh, that's so nice. Like, I got to do that. You know, what do you guys want to see? Would you guys like a change in direction in terms of the giveaway trucks? I'm still going to bring on some projects that are like more old school, because I really love those. I'm really passionate about those, but I wouldn't mind adding on some newer giveaway trucks also, if that's what you guys are into. Or just going back and forth, doing a little bit of both, mixing it up a little bit here and there. I wanna know what you guys wanna see, but this is the one up next, and somebody's going to freaking love this thing. Thank you guys so much for all the love and all the support. Don't forget to grab those 20X pre-entries are available right now, and then those will all get submitted on the first day of July 26th into the drawing. So get in for the truck while you can. Thanks so much for all the love, guys. You guys are awesome. Peace.